Every D zone breakdown you've ever seen, so every odd man rush, every goal against off of a turnover, has a root cause. More often than not, if you trace it back, it starts with a centerman who didn't understand his job. The center is the most responsible player on the ice, especially in your own end. Doesn't have to be the most skilled, but the most responsible. So in this video, I'm going to break down basically what that actually means. If you guys don't know me, I'm Dustin Donovan, Hockey Coach Life. I've been in power skating and skills coach, a NASM certified personal trainer, and I have a master's degree in kinesiology and a bachelor's in psychology. I played high school hockey, collegiate hockey. I ended up coaching high school hockey for many years, 10 plus years, and then eventually coaching college hockey for a little bit as well. I've also trained athletes from NCAA D1 all the way to NHL pro players. A lot of the things I'm going to teach today are things I've learned from my experience and things I also learned from NHL coaches in conversation with NHL coaches. Think about the central nervous system and what it does in your body. So what it does is it reads signals from everywhere and coordinates the response. That's exactly what a centerman does in the defensive zone. I used to always tell my teams, you're the central nervous system of the team. Your primary job is puck transportation and supporting your defensemen. You're not supporting your wingers, you're supporting your D. Think of it this way as a centerman. You are the bridge between your forwards and the back end. If that bridge ever breaks, your system breaks down, regardless of whatever system you're running. In fact, there's some research that shows that centers cover the most ice surface in any defensive situation, averaging 15 to 20% more defensive zone positioning adjustments per shift than the wingers. So the role demands a lot. Here's something coaches honestly don't say enough. Whether your team runs a man-on-man, a zone, a swarm, or a 5 on a dice, the center's core responsibilities don't really change. Now, what changes is sometimes the detail of how you execute those responsibilities. Think of it this way. In a zone system, you're anchoring the middle and reading triggers to pick up threats. Now, in a man-on-man, you have a specific body to cover, and that's what you're responsible for. In a swarm, you're basically collapsing and pressuring with your 5-man unit. But here's the thing, in every single one of those systems, you still need to know where every player on your team is. You still have to support your D, and you still need to be the player who processes information the fastest. Think of the system as a playbook. The center's hockey IQ is basically the quarterback reading the defense before the snap. The play calls change, but the quarterback's responsibility to read and react stays exactly the same. But let's talk specifics. When you're playing between the dots in defensive zone, your head has to be on a swivel. I know you've probably heard that multiple times. There's a phrase I use with a lot of my athletes is toes up ice, stick down, and presented. Basically, you want to be angled so you can see the puck and your check or your man simultaneously. The second you lose either one of those two reads, you become a liability on the ice. As a centerman, your job is to have that stick on the ice in a passing lane. Stick detail in the D zone is a non-negotiable. Stick placement, not body contact, is the primary disruption tool for centers at elite levels. And your D zone responsibilities obviously don't just develop in play. It starts at face-off details as well. I mean, think of it this way. Small details win face-offs. Hand placement, feet placement, reading the opposing player's tendencies before the puck drops. And here's the piece most players miss. Your wingers and defensemen need to help you. They have to support you. Think bumps before routes. That was the thing I used to always say to all my teams. Your line mates angling their bodies to cut off the opponent's most dangerous option before the draw. These are details that decide possession. In possession, the D zone is the difference between a good clear or a good breakout and a goal against. A centerman who wins faceoff consistently isn't always the one with the best hands or the fastest hands. Jamie Benn's an incredible centerman. Obviously, he's not a crazy dangler. They're the ones who've done the preparation, studied the opposing center's tendencies, communicated the call to their team, and set their feet before anyone in the circle is even ready. Seen any of my other videos, especially on Instagram or even my shorts, I love to get to the mental side of the game. It's part of my psychology background. And this is where a lot of coaches kind of gloss over, but it's situational awareness. Knowing what's happening around you before it happens is a trainable skill. It's not just something some players have and some don't. There's a concept in cognitive psychology called pre-attentive processing. It's the ability to absorb environmental information before conscious attention is fully engaged. And think about it this way, elite centermen do this on every single shift. They know where all the 5 players are on the ice before the puck arrives at them. So they're not reacting, they're anticipating. This can definitely be taught. So how are you going to train this off ice? Easy. Watch game film intentionally. Pause before the center receives the puck, or whoever happens to be the center at the time. Where is everyone? What's the right play? What's their best option? Basically try to predict what they're going to do. On ice, do this at practice. Make a decision before you receive the puck. That's going to build that habit in practice, and obviously it's going to eventually become automatic in games. I always tell players it takes 60 to 120 reps to build an automatic habit, so do it as many times as you can. The center is the most demanding position on the ice in your own end, not because of physicality, because of cognitive load. As a center, you have to process more information faster than anyone else on the ice, and then you have to make the right decision every single time, which you're not, and that's okay. If you're a coach watching this, the 3 questions I always ask my centermen after a D-zone shift are: what did you see out there? Who were you playing against on that shift? And how can we get better before the next shift? Have them process that. Simple questions. They don't have to give you the answers right away. You can walk away and come back before their next shift and see if they can have some of those answers. And it puts that responsibility of learning on the player, which is what they need, not just on the coach. If you enjoyed this video, next time I was going to break down the defenseman's role in the D zone and eventually the wingers. And I'd love to make it through the neutral zone and of course into the O zone. If that's something you want to see, let me know in the comments below. And obviously subscribe so you don't miss it.